Hey everybody, welcome back to the Hard for Games channel. I am your host Tony, and as you are probably well aware, 2019 is very fast approaching. And when we think about the new year, we think about New Year's resolutions, what we want to do differently as people. Maybe it is something personal like my health or something I want to do differently with my family, but this is a gaming channel, so we're going to talk about top 10 gaming resolutions for 2019. Now, I wrote out a list of 5, and I realized that mine were like very specific to me. So I wanted to broaden the scope a little bit. So I brought on Lady Pelvic of Pelvic Gaming, who you may recognize from our podcast, at least more recently anyways, to kind of spice it up a little bit with some of her New Year's gaming resolutions.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I appreciate it so much. It's always a pleasure, when you ask me to collab, and you're such like a stand for my channel. It's so sweet. I love it. So I'm really happy to be talking some gaming New Year's resolutions.
Absolutely.
They're hard for games. Games are hard. They're hard for games. Games are hard. They're hard for games. Games are hard. They're hard for games. Yeah, they're so hard. They're hard for games. Yeah, they're so hard.
So my first gaming resolution is play more indie games. There is so many quality indie games out there. I mean, sometimes you gotta search through the trash, needle in a haystack sometimes. But lately there have been quality indie games coming out here, and they just go under the radar and unnoticed. And I just want to bring more attention to them. I get it as like a small YouTube channel. You go under the radar so often. So when bigger and better YouTube channels come along, like Hard for Games, come and find you and then promote you, it's like, oh, and it's exciting. It's a lot of fun. So that's just one of my things. And in addition to that, I know my indie game reviews don't pull in a lot of views. That's and that's unfortunate. Some people are like, oh man, this is really cool, I'm gonna check it out, but they still don't get as much as like my retro reviews, like Suikoden or Breath of Fire. But I still want to give back to the community. I still want to give back to these small developers. I want people to buy their games. Keep food on the table. So
yeah, no, exactly. And there's a plethora of amazing indie titles out there. You just have to find them, I feel. A lot of them that are completely hidden gems. I mean, there's a lot of shovelware-y stuff too, but, I've just had so many great experiences where it's like, wow, like, this is cool. And you could tell that there's been a lot of heart and soul put into a particular game that nobody is talking about. And it's a shame, And again, it reflects in our views as YouTubers. Those indie games don't always pull the same numbers as a Suikoden review, which is super unfortunate, but it just kind of is what it is. And that kind of leads me into my first gaming resolution. I want to do more game reviews that you, the viewer, will not watch. And I know that sounds a little bit counterintuitive and a little bit strange as a YouTuber to be saying that, but here's how this came about. I shot a Spyro Reignited review with my wife, my first wife, the Anna, and we had so much fun. We were playing it, and she was nostalgic for it. She played that game at her friend's house when she was a kid quite a bit, and it did horribly view count-wise. And it's kind of my own fault. I mean, I set up a YouTube channel where our bread and butter is prototypes and dab stuff and Zelda and the N64 DD, and when we don't do one of those things, YouTube's algorithm just doesn't give it to you guys because that's not what you really watch or want from us. But I had so much fun shooting that episode and playing that game that I don't care. 10 out of 10 would review and have no one watch again. It's fine. I've come to that conclusion as a YouTuber that kind of thing is okay. I'm going to do it more.
No, I think that's really great. I really do. And that's a great segue into my next gaming resolution is I just want to play games for fun. I think, especially being a gaming YouTuber, it's easily like, your hobby becomes your job. And then when something becomes your job, it's kind of like, it's not the same. You know what I mean? And I think there are times where I just need to have me time, me in a game, not set up anything. Don't set up the camera, the microphone, no commentary, no lights, no, is the equipment working okay? Nope. Just, in your bed, under the comforters, pop open your 3DS, your Nintendo Switch, your Vita, handheld, and just play a game. You know what I mean? And also as a gaming reviewer, when you play games for review versus playing them for fun, I mean, your mind's in a different headspace. Like, you're paying extra close attention to, like, interface, the camera angles, frames per second, stuff like that. Where when you're just playing for fun, you're just, these things can annoy you still, but you're not like hypercritical of them,
Yeah.
And that's, I just want to play some games for fun, and that's
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it reminds me of a conversation I had with Richie in one of our podcasts where I mentioned that whenever I review a game and I'm playing it to review it, I always, even if it's a great game and I know in my head that it's a great game, I always don't enjoy it as much. And I always normally knock it up an extra half point or point because I feel like if I were to be playing that game without the stresses of reviewing it, like, I would probably give it a higher score, so I account for that in my rating system when I do that.
That's pretty
just
smart.
because it's like I'm so busy I can't fully enjoy it, which sucks. But that's just kind of the way it is, But there are some games that, I'm playing now. My wife got me Lunar, and I'm not reviewing it. I'm just playing it. I'm having a blast with it. And I'm so glad that I am, because you need that. You need to be able to play games for fun.
Absolutely.
There's nothing wrong with that. So, speaking of which, you might be able to tell that we specifically ordered these to segue into each other. Because I keep saying, speaking of which, I'm going to piggyback upon that. Oh, as a matter of fact, as if it wasn't planned. This was planned in advance. Anyways.
Damn, Tony, you're letting out all our secrets, man.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of which, my next resolution is to do more gaming with my wife. And it's so important with your significant other, with your family, to have quality time. But I want to do a 2-for-1 and have that quality time be gaming. Because we played some great games this year. We're playing Observer right now. We played Evil Within 2. She has sort of a penchant for horror titles. But we also played like Thimbleweed Park, Spyro, as I mentioned, and it was fun. We're having a great time doing it, and I'm actually getting some gaming in. Right? So I want to cheat and do that with my wife, right? Like, why not? Like specifically choose titles to buy that I know she's going to enjoy and have at it,
I think that's so sweet.
I mean, it's slightly selfish, but it's also not, because I want to have that experience with her. I don't know. It's weird because I think a lot of couples, some couples game together, some couples don't, but we do sometimes. So I think there's more potential to game more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that's super sweet. And okay, so I don't have a wife or a husband or significant other, whatever.
Excuse me. Waifu?
Oh, excuse me.
It's waifu and husbando.
Oh, okay.
Is how it's pronounced.
Okay, excuse me. I do not have a waifu or a husbando. Are we good? Are we good? Can I continue?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thanks. So, I don't have either of those, but it's kind of like piggybacking off the family time. Is my mom is a huge gamer, and we played like Phantasy Star 4 together, and it was a lot of fun. I mean, back when we were like kids, like when it first came out on the Sega Saturn or Genesis, one of those two. I don't remember. But
I think it was the Genesis, but I can't remember because I was never a huge Phantasy Star guy.
Oh, well, that's where you're wrong, but it's fine. So moving on.
I said I was never a huge Phantasy Star guy.
Oh my god, you should be. But it's good. It's cool. But my mom always commented on like, oh, I sacrifice a lot, like doing YouTube. Editing takes a lot of time. Gaming, I play JRPGs, 60, 80, 100 hour plus games. My mom's just like, I wish I'd see you more and yada yada. So when I can play games with my mother, or like on Mother's Day, I do like a Mother's Day special video on my channel where my mom and I we talk about games and stuff like that. It brings it together, and I'm so happy my mom's a gamer because it just makes it easy to like mesh and like we just get along so well. We both like fantasy and all that stuff. But That's why I like the idea of you gaming with your wife, you know? And then, like, when your child grows up, you're going to be gaming with him, too. It's going to be adorable. One of my New Year's resolutions is to go to more conventions and meet you guys. You know, meet my supporters. You know, being a YouTuber, sometimes it's a bit of a lonely life. You know, I'm locked up in my room and just editing away, gaming away. And, I mean, I like it, you know? But like, the occasional social interaction. Let me not pretend like I'm a social butterfly. You know, I can, like, assimilate with the extroverts. You know, they'll never know. But I really would like to meet you guys and talk to you guys like face to face, shake some hands, just play some games with you guys. Last convention I went to was LumiCon in 2018, and it was so wonderful to like hold panels and just laugh with you guys, crack jokes, talk about games. You guys introduced me to some games that I've never heard about, and then likewise I told you guys about some games that you guys never heard about, whether it be indie or some of you guys, you know, you guys are young, and I was like, Suikoden? You're like, what's a Suikoden? But it was so much fun, and some of the messages you guys have given me, like face-to-face messages, were just like, you know, you're really inspiring, I love what you do, I want to start this, I look up to you, and I'm just like, whoa, this is insane. But it's like such a rush for me though, just to know that like I'm no different, I'm no better than anyone else. You know, you cut me, I bleed. But that I'm just doing what I love and giving people like the courage, the hype, the whatever you want to call it, encouragement, you know, to do what they love. And it's just good feelings all around. So going to conventions, shaking some hands, hugging you guys, I would love it. Love it, love it, love it. So.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, honestly, when I read your list of, you know, resolutions, I was like, I should have included going to more conventions because they're just so much fun. Like, they're so much fun. It's nice to run into people, you know, you meet people that you know, have been commenting on your videos, and it's just it's like a rush, you know, because it's like, I remember when we went to the ScrewTech Gaming Convention in 2011, and no one cared about Hard for Games. Still no one cares about Hard for Games, but especially back then. And like, there were people that knew who we were and were like, oh my God, like this is insane. Like, it was just crazy how, like you said, and I know that you mentioned this on social media about how people had come up to you and were like, you know, I'm so glad that you're a positive female influence in gaming and this and that. And it's just like a good feeling. You know what I mean? That like, you're making some sort of difference in this giant world. And you kind of get that at conventions when you go as a YouTuber. Piggybacking off of what you said, I want to branch out and do more collabs in 2019. And our podcast has really been a good sort of vehicle for that, because we've been able to bring a lot of people in to talk about various topics. And I feel like when I was sort of, and we're still an up and coming channel, but when I was, you know, when Hard for Games was smaller, you know, the collabs that we did were so helpful. I feel like I wanted more of that when I was, quote, younger in YouTube. I feel like if there's anything that we can do as Hard for Games for other channels that we like, it's so much fun to do so. So let's just do it. So I've been doing my best to kind of reach out to various people that I've been, you know, watching their show, or maybe they've been watching us. And I just kind of want to see where it takes us in 2019, because it's just a fun thing to do. And it kind of gets you out there a little bit, which is never a bad thing, normally, at least.
Hopefully. So, branching out and trying new games. It's a problem that I have. I acknowledge I have it. That's the first step. Just like Tony needs to acknowledge he's an alcoholic, but it's fine. We're not here to talk about that. So games that I really enjoy have high fantasy, or just fantasy in general. So think like Legend of Zelda, Dragon's Crown, the first Xenoblade Chronicles. Games like that are just, you know, elves and forests and magic, you know. And something I really want to slowly usher myself into is sci-fi. All right, even sci-fi fantasy. Even mechs too. When I played Xenoblade Chronicles X, I was like, oh, it's very spacey. They're in space and there's spaceships. Like, I don't know why it's such a turnoff for me. But, you know, I played it and there was like mechs and I was like, oh snap, like I think I'm into mechs now. You know, I'm a little bit into mechs. Like, all right. You know, even Xenogears, very kind of spacey after a point. And I'm like, oh, okay, like I'm enjoying it. It's a little, it overstayed its welcome, but yeah, okay, we're in this. A lot of people are trying to get me to play Mass Effect, and that's another thing, like, go back into, like, Western RPGs, and I'm not against Western RPGs. I think Skyrim is Western, no? Elder Scrolls, yeah, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Cool.
It's Bethesda, isn't it?
Yeah. So I like Skyrim, but again, that's like the fantasy stuff, like Fallout, even 70. I didn't play 76. Who am I kidding? But that doesn't interest me. But Skyrim, I'm all about. So I just Mass Effect again, a really really big one that my fans are trying to push me toward. I'm just like, oh, but aliens, all like, isn't there like a romance thing? They're all ugly. I'm like, I don't want to touch any of these aliens. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want any part of this. There's a few sci-fi games that I enjoyed watching. Like I watched my friend play Dead Space. That was great. I was invested in Dead Space. But again, Xenoblade Chronicles X was pretty cool. Xenoblade Chronicles had like some kind of fantasy elements. It was sci-fi fantasy. Like sci-fi fantasy is like my middle ground. It's just I need to go full sci-fi, man. Full sci-fi, full in space. And I just can't get in there. Another one is actually strategy games too. I'm not a big fan of strategy games, but I'm working my way to Final Fantasy Tactics. I'm warming up. I'm warming up. But
I've never been a tactical RPG guy, but after playing Lucian's Quest, which I still need to do a review of, but the developer did a sort of a strategy RPG before that, and I've been starting to play that a little bit, and it's actually pretty good. Like I've actually been enjoying myself with it, so it's just sort of opening up and taking a like interest and just twisting it a little bit and see if you still enjoy it after that twist, I think is what it's all about.
Yeah, but it's that initial push. Like, I just need someone to, like, sit my ass down, hand me the controller, put the game on, and, like, ball and chain me to the chair.
My next resolution is to, it's similar, Lady Pelvic was mentioning more games to enjoy. I want to take my time enjoying the games I'm playing, right? And sometimes I just do the main quest, because I don't have time. I don't have time. Like, my wife best described parenting as you are in a room desperately trying to get something done, and every other room in the house is on fire. And it's always that way. So if you go into the next room that's on fire, suddenly all the other rooms are on fire. And then you move into another room, and that room's not on fire, but all the other rooms, including the one that you were just in, is on fire. So it's difficult to find time to game. So I found myself almost sort of streamlining games to the point where I'm just trying to get through them. I want to slow that down this year. I want to do some of the side quests, provided they're well made and interesting and all that stuff. I don't want to waste my time. But I do want to enjoy the experience a little bit more and not feel obligated to just get through my backlog, if that makes sense.
Oh, 100%. Oh my gosh, you should have saw my face when you were saying like you like skip side quests or whatnot. I was like, oh my God. Like, I can't imagine that. I'm the type of person, I gotta do everything, Oh my gosh, I have to do everything. Octopath Traveler had me like busy for days.
Oh yeah. But well, when I was watching your original Suikoden review, talking about all the different, I think it was Suikoden, where you have to get all the different characters, and there's a bunch that you can recruit or maybe you don't. I was like, I would love this game, but I don't have time for it. Like, this sounds way too complicated. I have FOMO, fear of missing out. Like, if I like didn't get a certain character or something, like, I don't know. Like, I think I'd have trouble with that. That's kind of on the other end of the spectrum for me, but I definitely do need to slow down a bit, at least.
No, I understand that. So this is actually a good segue into my next one, is having gaming self-control. All right, so let me explain what that is. After you finish a dungeon, you say the typical, okay, after this dungeon, after this boss, after this story mission, I'm going to go to bed. But then, something happens and obviously you can't put the game down. I mean, this is a stretch. I question if I'm going to be able to live up to this in 2019. But, some gaming self-control. And I think some self-discipline that I would like to do is, it's like, I play through all the games that I do. Like, I go through the side quests and everything. I may not complete it 100%, but I get like 80-90%. So you were saying that you like rush through games. I rush through games, but I also get all the side quests. And I feel like that could hinder my enjoyment. Like, I just play games really fast. And I think if I slowed it down a little bit, I think I could like grasp just little Easter eggs, just more of it. I soak up things pretty quickly, but there, games have Easter eggs or just like subtle things. Like, characters say subtle things, or text could change color or whatever, And I just kind of breeze through it so fast. So, but gaming self-discipline is putting the game down after you know, a turn or after a dungeon, a boss, something like that, saying, okay, I have work in the morning. We'll see how that goes in my 2019. Who knows? I'm not making any promises, but now it's on the internet, so now you guys can hold me up to it.
So my last gaming resolution is to drink more while I'm gaming and reviewing. And this one's sort of self-explanatory. I just want to have more beer. And, you know, I know a lot of you are like, oh my God, he's trying to be cool by drinking a beer, or cringe, or how distracting. And I don't care. I'm not trying to be cool. I'm wearing a shirt that I pulled out of the hamper twice because I didn't have time. Twice over the course of a week. There's so much peanut butter on this shirt, you would not believe. You can't see it because it's on the sleeves, but I strategically put the camera in such a way and rolled my sleeves up that you wouldn't see it. I don't care about being cool. I just want to enjoy myself and feed my raging alcoholism.
Okay.
That said, I do want to make a compromise with you guys. I get it. You don't want to see me drinking beer. So I'll be switching to straight whiskey moving forward in 2019. Distilled in Detroit. Love it. A little bit sweet. It's good. I love it. Woodward whiskey. Oh my God. So good. Anyways, that is my last resolution.
I don't even have a comment. Like I'm just shaking my head in disappointment. Like I don't have, I don't. Although I will say, actually, you know, I do have a comment. So I think this would be a fun. I don't want to say resolution, but just a fun thing to do. Drinking in games is actually kind of fun. Like, have you ever played like drunk Mario Kart? Shit is so much fun.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
So I think, you know, in moderation. Again, I wouldn't make it a New Year's resolution to drink more while gaming. I just feel, and considering I'm gaming all the time, that would make me be like you, an alcoholic, and I don't want that. But, you know.
Yeah, you know, it's not something you want, really, to rely on it like I do. But, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. Whatever. I don't want help. I got this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm good. I'll tell you when I have. Yeah. All that good stuff. But, actually, by the way, if you ever come to Michigan, you might actually like this whiskey. It's actually a little bit sweet. Actually really good. I haven't had it in a while.
Like, because Tony's a big whiskey fan. I don't get it. I'm a
tasty.
fruity. I'm a fruity drinker. I like, you know, I like my college drinks. Okay, I like my orange juice and tequila, orange juice and vodka, orange juice and I love orange juice. Orange juice is like my favorite mixer ever. So,
I'm shaking my head.
Whatever. I'll just have a Smirnoff in your name.
Are you drinking a Smirnoff now? Did you end up doing that?
No, I'm not. No, I was out of Smirnoff. I'm so sad.
That's hilarious.
So sad.
Oh, well, whatever. So that was our top 10 gaming resolutions, New Year's resolutions for the year 2019. I want to wish you all a very, very happy end to the holidays, a happy new year, and hopefully we'll all be able to stick to our resolutions. Thank you to our subscribers, our Patreon supporters, and I want to encourage all of you to check out Lady Pelvic's channel, Pelvic Gaming. If you haven't seen her channel already, she is a variety reviewer with everything between new games, retro games, top fives, but a bit of also a focus on JRPGs, and excellent JRPGs at that. So if you are into that type of content, definitely check her out. I'm going to go ahead and put a link to her channel in the description below. Anything you want to say before we wrap this up?
Thank you so much, Tony. Truly, it's always a pleasure, you know, collabing with you, cracking jokes, drinking shit, you know, shooting the shit.
Yeah. Mansplaining.
Yeah, I know, mansplaining and things.
That's right.
You know, that's you in a nutshell, pretty much, right?
Yeah,
Alcoholic mansplainer.
I'm pretty much a sexist, but
might as well be. Yeah. No, but seriously, thank you for having me on your channel. It's always a joy, and yeah, check out my channel if that stuff interests you. JRPGs, RPGs, platformers, definitely some retro stuff, new stuff, all the stuff that Tony already said. He already mansplained it, so yeah.
You listen. I'm gonna rewrite her channel description after this too, just because of mansplaining purposes. I need to mansplain more in 2019. That's my goal.
Oh man. Oh jeez. Oh boy.
I'm gonna tell my wife how to do her job as well. So.
Oh snap! I want to film that.
Be great.
I want to know what she has to say. Annulment. Annulment.
Yeah, exactly. Annulment. Yeah, exactly. She'll be like, hell no. Yeah, she's much better at her job than I could ever be. So that would probably be bad for our income. But anyways, thank you all again for watching, and again, Happy New Year, and we will see you all in 2019.
Bye.